Okay. Hello, my astrology friends. This is Lada from astrolada.com. And here today with sidereal astrologer Krasi Attasio, who lead us through the month of December with the upcoming Mars retrograde. Mercury is already retrograde. We're moving a bit retrograde this December. Things are slowing down or becoming a bit more, requiring more effort. And before we start, I just want to let you know that Krasi is offering 60%, $60 discount on her 2025 12-month horoscopes for you. It's a personal horoscope for the year ahead if you're interested. Our New Year's discounts have started, and Krasi is the first one to offer her reading 1 hour for the year ahead. Hello, Krasi.
Hello, Wada. Hello, everyone. Yes, December is very martial. I say martial also because before the month December starts, also the conjunction between the sun and the moon is also happening in Scorpio. Emphasis on Mars, serious emphasis on Mars. And later, the first appearance of the moon for the month of December, for the lunar month of December, is taking place in Sagittarius. But what I found to be most significant, what we will feel, each one of us, indeed, Wada, is the retrograde motion of Mars, who is becoming retrograde. I think this was the first, yes, the first week of 7th, 8th of December. But more interestingly, Mars is in Cancer, and Mars will be for quite a long time in Cancer. And I speak about sidereal Cancer. This will be tropical Leo for the people who follow the tropical astrology, but Mars is difficult detriment in Cancer. Mars, the fiery energy of Mars in the watery Cancer is quite unpredictable, even more when he turns retrograde. So he will be moving back and forth for quite a long time, Cancer, Gemini, Cancer, Gemini, up until, I think, let me see my notes, up until what? 8th of June. It will be back and forth only in Gemini and Cancer. But now already he is in Cancer and he will be retrograding, like we said, 6th or 7th of December. What do we see when Mars will be passing through Cancer and in addition retrograde? Quite unpredictable indeed. And actually, let's also remember that the first appearance of Mars, because this is his cycle, which is not finished yet. So we are still under the influence of his cycle, was in May, and it was in Pisces. So very watery energy. You see the water floods. It took place in Spain, where many countries, and I think this will continue, maybe in a more malefic way, even while Mars, will be retrograding in Cancer. In addition, Mars being dispositor of Mercury is retrograde, yes, but also a week after Mars will become retrograde, Mercury becomes visible to emphasize on quite specific degrees, very not exactly conjoined Antares, but quite near. Mercury becomes visible, retrograde and visible in the vicinity of Antares, and this is quite powerful. And since Mercury is related to speech, to our intellectual mind, to communication, imagine what type of communication, what type of speech and truth and deep knowledge may come out with Mercury becoming visible in this watery, mysterious Scorpionian energy, and Mars is also in this watery energy. It will be very, very crazy in terms of news that we'll be hearing, truths that will be shown to us, knowledge that may come out.
Secrets that come out,
Secrets.
that cut to like the heart of the scorpion, or Antares cuts to the heart.
Exposure. What the exposure? Like many will be exposed. Like we will be during this cycle, which is quite long. I tell you, this is, imagine if Mars now is retrograding in Cancer. I tell you, on let me say, see, on 17th of January, he is going back into Gemini to stay there until 7th of April. Boom, again, you see, to trigger communication and to cause also some, disharmonies in communication. When people travel, we have to be very careful, especially if we travel on water. We have to be very careful. This will be very interesting. I don't know, very disharmonious. When it comes to the war, like theater, also the war may involve waters, seas a lot, and can or underwater, also, or can become very spy-like situation, very hidden, very behind the scenes, very mysterious,
Underhanded, with
very,
behind the back. Yeah.
Very, I believe, very. Refugees, my God, people will be not openly now crossing the borders. They will find all possible ways to cross refugees as well, on water, tremendously. In terms of health, also, this is not very harmonious. This is the water trine involving the energies of Pisces. Of course, what I want to mention, in December, Mars will be making opposition to Venus. And here comes one interesting aspect. Venus and Pluto will conjoin exactly also 5th, 6th of December. This is very, very deeply emotional conjunction. It will, this can open up the energy of jealousy, extreme emotions in people's romantic lives, especially if, let's say, they have this already in their charts, if they are prone to jealousy, like they're jealous for their partners, let's say. This will be extreme, because you can imagine in Capricorn, in the first degrees, which are very powerful, these are degrees, term of Venus.
Very sexual as well, isn't it? Close to the horns
yes.
of the goat.
Very true. Very sexual, very extreme in terms of emotions, jealousy, strong love emotions, passion. It will be very interesting. Also, when we make decisions related to Capricornian matters, property, real estate, gemstones, building, all of us, we need to be very very careful, very intuitive when we make decisions, because this is extremely emotional axis. Capricorn, home, property, building, land, these types of matters are also very important. How we make decisions, they can be impulsive, a little bit, because of this opposition. Also, in the very same moment, of course, Saturn and the Sun and Mercury, who is becoming visible, are also forming a square. This could be also suppression of free speech during the month of December. December in general is not very, very harmonious, but if we look from the good side of this, exposure, truth coming out, amazing knowledge, could be knowledge related to healing and health, because Mercury becomes visible in Scorpio. Venus is in the vicinity of Altair, the star of clairvoyance. People who are clairvoyant can go through amazing spiritual experiences. They would see more than they usually see, but they should be a little bit aware of invasion of bad spirits. Mars in Cancer making. See, so it's very, very interesting. Financially, I don't see the month as very, very beneficial, because Capricorn Venus is under the control of the Saturn in energy, which is always a little bit suppressive, but with Pluto. Pluto Venus can give good results, but I want to say what Master Ben Sodunu is saying. Pluto is very sensitive to the truth. The truth. We need to remain very truthful in our actions, in our, saying always the truth, never deviating from the truth. And then Venus-Pluto conjunction can even be financially benevolent, because Pluto, when well placed, when understood, can be very good in terms of to bring good finances. Very, he's eighth house ruler, of course. You know, you as you know, the wealthiest people have Jupiter Pluto conjunction or trine, right? So Pluto Venus is also benevolent financially, but we have to be very careful with the Plutonian energy. Very intuitive, because this is the mystery of the intuition. Very intuitive, very truthful. I can repeat it forever, because I know once we deviate from the truth, Pluto is hard on us, really. So these are the main things, So financial month is not so malefic, but we still need to be careful. Also,
Mars is just starting to turn retrograde already. We're
yes,
feeling it a few days. Today they announced that there's ceasefire. So there's turning around of a ceasefire between Israel and Lebanon. So hopefully turning around of a military war situation as well is another, in a different direction, takes a different direction. But like you said, because it's going to be in Cancer for so long, it might be not direct hit anymore. It's now more behind the scenes or something like that.
This is what I fear, because the phase, this particular phase of Mars, when he appeared, in Pisces, this is not over yet. So, ladies and gentlemen, these are, the main things for the month of December. Saturn and Jupiter also are forming their square, and this will be until Jupiter leaves Sidereal Taurus, which will happen on 19th of May of next year. So when he leaves, they will be forming again square, because then Saturn will move into Pisces. But this is a long story for another conversation. So saying this,
wait, Saturn-Jupiter square December. You're
Saturn
right.
Jupiter square, yeah.
What do you think? So I remember the last time Saturn squared Jupiter, and you told us that maybe the markets can go down, and that's exactly what happened in August around the days. Everyone thought it was like a big collapse, but it was for about 10 days, and they stabilized. But yeah, financially, possibility.
This always hits finances, Wada. Always this square notice always has bad influence on the markets. The same. Yes, it will be, the square will be exact indeed.
And can I just add, because in tropical zodiac, Jupiter is in Gemini, Saturn is in Pisces, and exactly the same time this last August, there was like a big clash between locals, Gemini, and foreigners or refugees, Saturn in Pisces, in England, and it was quite serious there. So again, we can see some continuation or developments around this topic as well, looking through tropical, but Krasi is saying the sidereal, which is the actual constellations.
Yes, then you would have Saturn in Aquarius and Jupiter in Taurus, but the difference this time is that Jupiter will be in a very specific phase, cosmic setting. When God sees God. Jupiter doesn't like to be in cosmic setting. He's retrograding, and in cosmic setting, Jupiter is, a planet which doesn't want to set. And this is not very good. Jupiter is not so, this can even be worse than the situation we had in the summer, because Jupiter now is in a phase which is more malefic than it was in the summer. And what actually is good, on the other hand, is that Saturn is in the waters, which the waterman is pouring. And this will be another, level of, this is spiritual. Water is always knowledge. Water is always abundance of something. And in this case, Aquarius is the new. Aquarius is the, the new era, something from the new era. We will new knowledge, abundance of spiritual awakening, if you want, because these are sacred degrees. There are always two sides of things. You cannot only look at the square as something very bad.
Absolutely.
And let's say also the thing, only through the squares we can reach our evolution. Only the trines are not helping.
It's true. During trines, you don't even notice them sometimes.
No, no,
Squares
no.
give tension and makes you change something. So, well, I even made a post recently on my Facebook and I said, when was the transits during which you really changed for the better? Your life, you improved your life. Everyone said like the most brutal transits, Saturn squares, conjunctions, Pluto squares. Like it, no one said, oh, Jupiter trine my son, or maybe one
No,
of the people. They all said like those really hard transits. That's when
no.
the life got better. They changed themselves for better after usually some stress.
Exactly, exactly. And we have this square, and it is what it is almost a T square. You have Mercury, Sun square, Saturn, Saturn, Moon square, Jupiter. It's a serious square on the sky. But Jupiter opposition Mercury, it opens up our imagination. Very creative opposition, actually. Notice people who have Jupiter, Mercury, yes, usually they may have some challenges with brothers. I mean, this is how the ancients describe this too. But these people would have imagination, would be very creative on the other hand. So
You
there's
know
always something good.
what I think? Because this year in December, Saturn square Jupiter, square Mercury. Next year, exactly around the same time, November, December, the three will hold for 2 months like a trine. Saturn, trine Jupiter, trine Mercury. So now we'll get, it's almost like then it will be healing, but now it's like it opens, it pushes us towards some change, and maybe in a year we'll be rewarded in some way.
I believe so. Yeah, I believe so. Okay, maybe we go to speak about it as usual about the 12 ascendants. For people who are new to our presentation, we look from a sidereal and also tropical perspective. For example, for people who have sidereal ascendant Aries, the tropical equivalent will be Taurus. Or if you don't know at what time you were born, you can apply your moon sign. So it will be moon in Aries, sidereal, or moon in Taurus, tropical. So one small second. So we are starting with people who have sidereal ascendant Aries or moon in Aries, or for the modern tropical astrology, this is Taurus. So as we mentioned in our introduction, Mars, your ascendant ruler, is like the most important planet of the month. Every movement of Mars now, of course, will be very important. And Mars, as we said in the beginning of December, is becoming retrograde in Cancer. This is your ascendant ruler. This is the planet which represents you the most. Therefore, you may feel a little bit emotionally you can experience very extreme emotions. And this is on the axis of home and career. Therefore, even though Venus is on your 10th house, she's conjoined Pluto. And Mars is making opposition to Venus and Pluto. Therefore, you may need to be very, very careful at home, with the people you love, with your partner, with parents, but also at your career place with superiors. Especially there, be careful, because could be that some behind the scene actions could be played out. You need to be very intuitive, very careful indeed. And this is quite a long transit, so keep this a little bit in mind. On the other hand, Mercury is becoming visible on your 8th house, and this is great. You will be knowing a lot. You can most probably you experience spiritual dreams or clairvoyant experiences, or also financially this will be interesting, because in the same moment at the same moment Jupiter is making opposition from your 2nd house. So financially, the month wouldn't be very, very generous, but still you can have development in cases which involve finances or financial decisions related to finances via unexpected sources and so. In addition, What else we spoke about? Yes, the appearance of the moon happened on your ninth house. This is great for study, maybe even for travel, but be a little bit careful because still your ascendant ruler is in a bit mysterious, situation. So you may need to apply your intuition a lot and be careful and be very diplomatic almost with everyone during the month of December. And now we will be looking at people who have sidereal ascendant Taurus or moon in Taurus, or if you're following the modern tropical astrology, this would be Gemini. For you, Venus, which is ruling your ascendant, is on your ninth house with Pluto receiving the opposition from Mars. This could be benevolent, especially when it comes to study, reviewing of information and knowledge. Like you will really be able to benefit from new study experiences, information, knowledge. But be a little bit careful, especially how you communicate with others. Be careful how you do your media work. The month wouldn't be very appropriate for new media projects or long distance travel, or at least be a little bit careful. On the same moment, Jupiter is also in a bit specific heliacal phase on your ascendant and is receiving Saturn square. This is not new, but still, because of the placement of Saturn, because of the opposition between Jupiter and Mercury on the axis of your ascendant and descendant, be loving, careful, diplomatic with your romantic partner, also with partners in general. Also, when you will be communicating, negotiating, be a little bit careful too. Because also when it comes to business, the first appearance of Mercury in the middle of December is taking place on your seventh house. This could be some interesting new development related to business or negotiations, but in your romantic life, be diplomatic, be forgiving, be careful. Career-wise, like we mentioned, nothing new. Your career is being under the influence of Saturn already for almost 2 years, so you know how things are, what is actually going on. Yeah, remain careful, remain diplomatic. Jupiter is blessing you on your ascendant, and so he will be doing also in December. And now let's look at people who have sidereal ascendant Gemini or moon in Gemini, or if you're following the modern tropical astrology, this will be Cancer. So Mercury in December, Mercury rules your ascendant. In December, he will be on your sixth house. He's ruled by Mars. So this way, Mars becomes also very important also for your horoscope. And Mars, who rules your ascendant ruler, his detriment, and on 6th of December is becoming retrograde. This would say, especially when you make financial decisions, when you will be communicating with family members, be a little bit careful in your routine environment too, because Mercury is retrograding and becomes visible in your sixth house in the middle of the month. Actually, this can bring some new truth, new information, new development, new something new in your routine work, in your job. Could be also something related to health information, health solutions. So in a very good sense, but in any case, it is very good for knowledge, reviewing the truth, and so. But when you make financial decisions, make sure that you are not impulsive, not very emotional, a little bit careful. Venus and Pluto are also on your eighth house. This could be very interesting, and you probably could experience amazing spiritual or clairvoyant experiences. And Saturn remains on your ninth house, and in December he will be passing through these sacred degrees, and he will be reviewing to you knowledge, and he will be very benevolent for your studies, for communication, for even long distance travels. But still, because of the placement of Mars, be careful a little bit how you communicate with people. Now we're looking at people who have sidereal ascendant Cancer or moon in Cancer or if you're following the modern tropical astrology, this would be Leo. For you, Mars is on your ascendant in Cancer, and he's becoming retrograde the first week of December. And he will be in Cancer back and forth, like I mentioned, until 8th of June. But on 17th of January, he's entering Gemini. But in December, he will remain on your ascendant retrograding, and he will be making opposition to Venus and Pluto. This is very emotional, very deep, very passionate and romantic. That's why try to balance, your emotions, especially when it comes to your romantic life, when it comes to partnerships, even your entrepreneur's business, let's say. This is also very important. Also, the first appearance of the moon took place on your sixth house. This is emphasis on the health, on your routine. And I emphasize on the moon because the moon is ruling Cancer. The health is very important, your health in month of December. Mercury will become visible on your fifth house and opposing Jupiter in your 11th house. This is axis related to creative work, creativity, imagination. Axis also related to talented work and gains. So the second part of December could be more benevolent for you when it comes to finances. But in general, when you will be negotiating, when you will be discussing finances, make sure that you are very, very balanced and very, very intuitive and careful. But this axis is very benevolent, axis of gains and axis of children as well. And now let's look at people who have sidereal ascendant Leo or moon in Leo, or if you're following modern tropical astrology, this would be Virgo. The sun who rules you will be passing through Scorpio and Sagittarius during the month of December. But interestingly, the first appearance of Mercury with the sun, is taking place. The retrograde Mercury mid December is taking place on your fourth house, making opposition to Jupiter on your 10th house. This could be interesting, could be related to some good, interesting news and truth, information reviewed to you, something even from the past because of the retrograde motion of Mercury related to property, to your home, can have impact, interesting movement, something new related to your career. In addition, in December, Mars will be also transiting through your 12th house, which is Cancer. And on 6th of December, Mars is retrograde. So be a little bit careful, especially for your health. Mars, especially in the first week of December, will be making opposition to Venus and Pluto in your 6th house. This could awaken some movement, disharmony, lots of events related to your routine, to people who work with you, who work for you, who share your routine environment. Also, health matters could also be somehow awakened. Therefore, be a little bit, take good care of your health. And so, also, Saturn remains, of course, also in December on your 6th house. He will be squared by Mercury. Make sure that you remain balanced, in harmony with your partner, in your business too. Be very, very diplomatic and forgiving if you can. And now let's look at people who have sidereal ascendant Virgo or moon in Virgo, or if you're following modern tropical astrology, this would be Libra. For you, your ascendant ruler Mercury will be in Scorpio, and around the 15th of December, Mercury becomes visible for the first time, also in the very important degrees of Antares, powerful degrees of Scorpio. This for you could be very interesting. It will matter. It will emphasize on matters related to third house, communication with brothers and sisters, knowledge, education, travel, negotiations. There you may have movement, but this is the second half especially the second half of December. In the meantime, Jupiter and Mercury make opposition on the axis of third nine houses, so much related to knowledge, to studies, to education, to philosophies. So in this sense, there you may have development in the month of December. In the meantime, Mars also in December remains in Cancer, but on the 6th December, he is turning retrograde, and this is 11th house. And he will be making opposition to Venus and Pluto on the 5th house. This is axis of gains, axis of creative activities, creative knowledge, joy, pleasure, talents. There you may have interesting development, but it could also be too emotional, especially when it involves personal romantic partnerships, because of the nature of fifth house and Venus and Pluto being there. So make sure that you're very balanced, that you manage to balance your emotions, because this is very, very strong, powerful opposition between the retrograde in Mars in Cancer and Pluto and Venus. Very, very extreme. Sometimes with this placement, people become far more emotional than they probably should be, jealous, passionate, and so. This also could also be very benevolent for to give you the muse to create, to draw, to create art, to create beauty. This could be very, very good actually. Saying this, Jupiter is on your ninth house. I said he's trining your ascendant. This is very supportive. Saturn remains in your sixth house. You know already that with Saturn in your sixth house, he already brought up the matters of like health as topic. But not only that, also the um, your changes in your routine, in your job environment. This is already something which Saturn was busy with for quite some months. So this is will be a little bit activated by the square which Mercury will be forming in the month of December. So make sure that you try to be diplomatic, careful at your work, and also responsible for your health. And now we look at people who have sidereal ascendant Libra or moon in Libra, or if you're following modern tropical astrology, this would be Scorpio. Now, Venus, which is ruling you in December, will be in Capricorn. And in the first week of December, Venus is conjoining Pluto. They form exact conjunction. So you have Pluto-Venus conjunction, opposition of Mars, who also on 6th of December will become retrograde. This is very powerful situation, quite interesting, and also not very easy, a little bit challenging for your work career environment, challenging a bit. And you will probably find peace and comfort at home. That's why in your career work environment, be diplomatic and careful with superiors. This is also not the time for new projects, new ideas, new beginnings related to career. You may need to be now a bit careful, a bit diplomatic. On the other hand, Mercury on the 15th of December is becoming visible on your second house, opposing your Jupiter. And this is interesting and can bring some news related to finances, new developments, new ideas, new financial results, if you want. This is valid for the second part. More is valid for the second part of December, but also can give new ideas, even new financial plans and projects because of the Mercury and Jupiter opposition. In the same time, Saturn remains in your fifth house. You know that already, and he is bringing important transformation of your fifth house related to knowledge, creative knowledge, creativity, gains, money, and so on. So now let's us look at people who have sidereal ascendant Scorpio, moon in Scorpio, or if you're following the modern tropical astrology, this would be Sagittarius. Now Mars is important for you because you have ascendant Scorpio. Mars is in December also in Cancer, and on 6th of December he's turning retrograde. He will be, however, trining your ascendant, and this is good. Your ascendant, truly, to be trining your ascendant is fine. He will not be harmful for you. Mercury becomes visible on your ascendant in the around the 15th of December, and this could be useful for you because he can give to you new bright ideas, new plans, new desires. He makes opposition to Jupiter in your seventh house, and he makes square to Saturn on your fourth house. That's why be a little bit diplomatic with your partner in your business too, negotiating too, but still Mercury can come up with some good solutions, something good and new. So this is not a bad heliacal appearance of Mercury. Can be also related to new studies that you may desire to follow, and so new you may desire to change the routine in your work, or you can come up with new health recipes. So this could be good. But in general, when it comes to studies and travel, because of the Venus-Pluto conjunction and the opposition of Mars, you may need to be a little bit careful when you travel, when you negotiate, and also with your media work. Now let us look at people who have sidereal ascendant Sagittarius or moon in Sagittarius, or if you're following the modern tropical astrology, this would be Capricorn. Now Jupiter is ruling you because your ascendant is Sagittarius. Jupiter is in the meantime in your sixth house, receiving the opposition from Mercury. Basically, he's emphasizing on the axis of 6-12 houses. This is about the routine, about health, and Jupiter and Mercury opposition there can be interesting because this way you can come up with new health solutions, especially when Mercury becomes visible around 15th of December. New information on health, on spirituality, secrets, knowledge, ways to exposure of hidden enemies, or ways to expose hidden enemies could be also very, very benevolent. And because of the opposition between the fallen Mars on your eighth house to Pluto and Venus in your second house, be a little bit careful with financial decisions. Could be that you're very driven to finances via unexpected sources, but there you may have eventually some disharmony. That's why make sure that you research well, you prepare well for every financial planning and decision. So also, Saturn is in your third house. This is not new. He's been there for almost 2 years, and he's squaring your Jupiter. That's why be a little bit more responsible for your health and make sure that you're very balanced and careful when you communicate with the people in your routine environment so that you have harmony at work. And now let's see people who have sidereal ascendant Capricorn or moon in Capricorn, or if you're following the modern tropical astrology, this would be Aquarius. In December, especially the first week, Venus and Pluto right on your on your ascendant make conjunction. This is actually very deep, very emotional, very passionate, and can give you this very good passion to live, to create, to experience life. But because of the opposition of Mars, make sure that you become, harmonious, balanced, forgiving, intuitive, diplomatic with your partner, and also at business, with people in general, with your connections. In the meantime, Mercury around the 15th of December becomes visible in Scorpio, your 11th house, and makes opposition to Jupiter in your 5th house. This way, the axis of 11th and 5th houses becomes very important. This is axis of gains, ideas, hopes, friendships, connections, and you may have interesting development there, especially after the second part of December. Very, very interesting. Saturn on your second house, nothing new. And you know he's already busy to reprogram the finances in your life, but this is happening since the last 2 years, and you will be kind of, you know more, you'll be informed now, you come up with new ideas, especially after the 2nd of December. In the meantime, use the interesting opposition between Jupiter and Mercury for creative work, for art. Could be that you get the muse to create beautiful art or to study a lot in the meantime. Now let's see people who have sidereal ascendant Aquarius or moon in Aquarius, or if you're following modern tropical astrology, this is Pisces. Now Saturn is on your ascendant, nothing new. He's been there for almost 2 years. He will stay there until the spring of next year. So you know what kinds of transformation he's been already giving you, most probably related to almost every area of your life, including your own, plans, ideas, options, also relationships, also career desires. So many areas of your life Saturn would be still influencing while on your ascendant. He can also be involved in matters like health, reviewing to the truth about health, making you busy with health as subject, but also being more careful with your own health. And in the meantime, Venus and Pluto are meeting on your 12th house, making opposition to Mars. This way, this axis becomes very interesting. This can review secret enemies, help you to find who they are, overpower them, help you also to advance in studies related to health or administrative matters. So this can be very benevolent. In the meantime, Mercury becomes visible around the 15th of December on your 10th house. This could be good, could bring something new in your career play, something new which was forgotten old, for example, because he's retrograde. He can come up with some new plans, projects, something or information that you need for your career, for your job, some new developments related to career and home and even property. So in this way, the second part of December could be very interesting and fruitful even for you. Now let's see people who have sidereal ascendant Pisces or moon in Pisces, or if you're following the modern tropical astrology, this would be Aries. For you, Jupiter, who rules Pisces in your third house, he receives opposition from Mercury, who on 15th of December is becoming visible for the first time. This way, matters like knowledge, information, especially information from long distance, media work, negotiations, solutions or related to communication with brothers and sisters could be the subject, could be something very interesting. And positive. You could come up with desires to travel or some new travel ideas and so. In addition, Venus and Pluto are conjoined in your 11th house and they make opposition to Mars. In this way, the axis of 11th and 5th houses becomes very important, interesting, complicated, a little bit mysterious. Be a little bit attentive with children. Also, could be that some new, there is development related to friendships, connections, finances, gains. This is not necessarily very fruitful development, but there could be some interesting development there. Therefore, be balanced, be intuitive, be a little bit careful when it comes to new financial projects, finances in general, children and your communication with them. So be a little bit more attentive and more intuitive and more careful in these areas of your life. In addition, Saturn is already for almost 2 years on your 12th house, so nothing new there. And he is fulfilling the karma for you, for your spiritual evolution, for your health, for your spiritual life, for your knowledge on health, for example. He is bringing some karmic enemies, let's say, and is giving you the opportunity to overpower them. So this very same Saturn will be squaring Jupiter, your ascendant ruler in your third house. That's why be a little bit careful how you negotiate, how you communicate, a little bit careful how you travel, and make sure that you're very, very intuitive and very diplomatic with people and when you communicate with them. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is about the 12 ascendants for the month of December, Wada.
Thank you so much, Krasi, for the succinct, to the point, clear description for us. Again, thank you everyone for joining us in the live chat. And if anyone would like to contact Krasi, I'll put a link below. She is giving a very big discount for everyone who wants to have a personal reading with her. She uses sidereal astrology, as you know. And soon we will publish Krasi's 12 signs for 2025. She is giving us, for our audience, for free, the predictions for each of the 12 sidereal or tropical signs. I think you mentioned it there.
Oh,
So stay
yes.
tuned for Krasi's 2025 forecast as well. Thank you very much again. Stay safe and have a useful, healthy, happy, joyful December.
Thank you, Wada. Thank you, everyone. Bye bye.